Great. Thanks, Bobby, for that introduction of everybody here. And I do want to say that you do have an awesome opportunity today to listen to three people that I believe are vital, not only to education, but to economic development in North Little Rock. Robert Birch and I have talked a lot about this. He's in our economic development, and that is that our education system in our community is what really spurs economic growth. And these folks are doing an excellent job in their roles. They're the heads of three very important financial institutions that we have here in our great city, with Dr. Greg Pulaski, Dr. Margaret Ellaby, and Dr. Jerome Green. So we've got some questions. First thing, just want to kind of start out, and I do want to tell y'all I'm going to hand y'all both of these so that when you hand it, so you have to hold two things. First thing is just kind of give us a state of the schools, kind of the state of the union, what's going on. School just got started. Kind of tell us how things are going out there.
Sure. Well, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, it's such an honor to be here. I first want to thank the North Little Rock Chamber, all of our parents, our community. You know, certainly being new to this community, not even been here a year, there's a passion for our school district and a passion for our community. And I think that says so much. So I'll give you really the quick state of schools. We've opened very successfully. We're finishing week 3 right now. As I was talking to my colleagues, you know, it's interesting because you can't start a conversation anymore without talking about COVID-19. And so for us in the school district, I really want to thank our parents, our school board, and our community for our mask mandate. We've started that. We had over 83% of our community in favor of that, and I will tell you it's making a significant difference. We know that having students in person is the best way to go to provide a high-quality education. And with that, our numbers right now in quarantine are hovering right around 100. That's less than 1% of our entire population. Our students that currently have COVID-19 are right around 20. And then our employees is less than that. So we're on a great trajectory to keep kids in school, and we're off to a great start. With that said, the pandemic has had a great impact on our students as well as it's had across the United States. And it's had an impact on our student achievement. So for an example, in some of our grade levels, when you're looking at students that are below grade level in reading, I'll use that as examples, at 60%. Due to the pandemic, that's now at 80%. So it's had an impact, but it's not only had an impact academically, it's also had an impact social emotionally. The pandemic's had more of an impact of students of color, our special education students, our English language learners. Assault is up nationally. So those are indicators that we want to pay attention to because of the social emotional side that we know have an impact. But we're off to a great start. And I'm so excited about this opportunity to really engage not only with our higher education partners, but with our business community about what we see in the future coming to our community.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I want to start, I kind of feel like this is the dating game up here. I'm between these two guys who I absolutely adore. And it's really fun to be here and see you all in person and see my two very good colleagues. I'm Margaret Ellaby, and I'm Chancellor at UA Pulaski Tech. And we have started the school year off very well, just like North Little Rock. We started on August 23rd. Our students, and we'll have about, probably 4,700. Census is on Tuesday of next week, are very happy to be back face-to-face on campus. We also have a mask mandate. We have options for hybrid and online and face-to-face. So I think our portfolio of instructional modalities for our students are fitting their needs. We are, just like everyone else, we are watching our cases, and if we need to do a soft shift, we will. But at this point, we are on a very positive momentum to have a very good school year. Some of the good steps that we've already taken and been blessed to have We were awarded just August 6th $2 million from the Wingate Foundation for student scholarships. And I was telling Senator English, the opportunity for students, whether they are traditional students coming from high school or our adult students, to be able to come to higher education right now here in the metro and in Arkansas and across the country, but certainly right here at home, is absolutely fantastic, because we have been blessed with federal funds, we have been blessed with awards and donations, and there are funds for you all and family members and community members to come to school and not have any crushing debt. And so we are working our students and our potential students rather dramatically on that aspect, and you'll be seeing more advertising as we have the semester beginning. But that has been tremendous. Our business and industry team, ladies, stand up. Where are you? There you go. Our business and industry center team has been inundated with tremendous contracts by our business and industry here. Certainly last year, but it's really taken off this summer and again fall. And our team can tell you we are working with small, medium, and large businesses and corporations here in North Little Rock and across the river as well, and providing customized training to them. And that has been absolutely tremendous, and that's all due to our tremendous team that work out at Business and Industry. But the other aspect of that is the tremendous partnership we have with this chamber. I'm looking at John and everybody, all of you, and then again, the tremendous partnership, and I keep doing this, with these two gentlemen. Because the synergy we have with each of our institutions and how we partner with you has been absolutely instrumental to that success. And we want to continue that success in new and different ways as we go forward. Looking at the future at UA Pulaski Tech, I think some of the things we are looking at in higher ed, and again, I'm looking at our leadership at the Capitol, how higher ed and our institution looks at short-term training, whether those are certificates on the academic side of the house or non-academic training for customized training. That is going to be huge for the success of higher education in this country. I think, and I know Senator English will probably get a good chuckle out of this because we've laughed before about it, competency-based education has been around since the beginning of time, and that is beginning to come back. And how higher ed, how we look at that at UA Pulaski Tech with our students, and again, it's a time and mastery. So if I can master that set of skills in a day, great for me, and then I'm gone. If it takes Greg here a week, well, we'll help him. But it's that kind of education system rather than seat time, and we're seeing more of that. And then certainly how we assess students and written tests, we have that in the portfolio. But your experience in life, your life experience, whether it's in the military, whether it's your business, and the skills you have, we can assess that now, and that can be part of your transcript and part of your educational experience. So those are all things we're looking at Pulaski Tech, and it's great to see you all. Thank you.
My name is Jerome Green. I'm president of Shorter College, and I am just delighted to be here with my two colleagues here today and to be with the North Little Rock Chamber of Commerce. First, I just want to express my appreciation to the city of North Little Rock, to the North Little Rock Chamber of Commerce, its members, and all of you for recognizing and embracing Shorter College as a vital part of the life and economy of this community. We have had an opportunity to work with the city and the Chamber of Commerce and with our other two institutions, Pulaski Tech and the North Little Rock School District, to lay the groundwork for some amazing things. One thing of note is, I believe, just in the past month or so, we have renewed an agreement for concurrent education, I believe, with the North Little Rock School District, and we work on a continuous basis with Pulaski Tech because we recognize that we have the same interest and the same outcomes, and that there is enough work for all of us to do. So we are happy to be here working together. We have also had a successful start to our fall term for this year at Shorter College. The pandemic notwithstanding, our enrollment is essentially level. I would say slightly down, but we are very happy with the numbers that we have. We probably have more than 250 students on our campus up the street, and another 250 or so at our various off-site teaching sites across the state. We have 8 across the state. So the college is in a good position with regard to enrollment financially, and we had an opportunity to take advantage of the pandemic and the funding that was available to retool our technology. So from where we were a year and a half ago to where we now, Shorter College is very proud that we have been able to take funding in excess of $1 million to upgrade technology in teaching through distance learning and other means. And because of current pandemic relief that has been appropriated by Congress, we are able to give incentives to persons who would elect to go to school during this period so that they can not only improve themselves but create a workforce that can help restart this economy. I mean, one example is a student can attend Shorter College right now as a commuter student and not only have their tuition paid with a Pell Grant because they qualify if they're unemployed, but we're able to give them a $500 check for taking the vaccination and give them another $1,000 if they would but just successfully complete the semester. So where can you go to school, have your tuition paid, and put $1,500 in your pocket for being safe and have a quality education? So we're very excited about those possibilities. I would, I think, be remiss if I didn't say that the Arkansas legislature, so we thank Senator English and the other members of the legislature and the governor for making Shorter College eligible to receive a $1 million appropriation for scholarships. That is novel and new, and it will enable us to create, just by using half of the money, it will enable us to create 40 full scholarships that we can use over the next 12 months and fund an endowment that we would hope to grow to more than $1 million over the next 2 to 3 years. So we are really excited about what's happening at Shorter College. And so one final thing I would say before I pass the mic is we are super excited about the Reimagine grant, the Reimagine Workforce Grant. Don't go into it. Okay. I'll stop. But let me at least have the team stand up. Shorter College team, stand up and let the people see you.
I mean, I didn't know I was going to be able to ask one question. We get through the whole program. I never have to say another word. Because educators like to educate and they like to talk. It's fun. That is one thing that I have definitely learned being on the education committee. But just going from that, and I know, Margaret, that you mentioned this, talking about as far as you being colleagues and your elbows and all that. First thing I want to know is kind of how did this come about that y'all really started working as close as you are together, because that just started here really recently. I know you have from time to time along the way, but it's really recently you really started working hard together. And what, how are each of your schools doing, setting up structuring for workforce as well as providing a pathway for higher education?
I think with anything, and I'm an old college basketball player, it's a team. Everything you do is a team environment, and it's we. And I think we are truly blessed in North Little Rock to not only have you folks in our chamber, but we have these entities led by these gentlemen. And I think when Greg arrived, I don't think he was here for a week, and we chatted, and the next thing we were meeting, and we had solved all the problems in the world and had figured out how to do things on a pad of paper. And it was that immediate friendship and strategic focus that we were looking at, what we knew the chamber was looking at, and what certainly our community needed. With Jerome, same thing. I've been here almost 10 years at UA Pulaski Tech, and Jerome and I met the first week I think I was here, and we have been, as I say, best buddies since. And the fact that, and Jerome said it really well, there's enough work for all of us to do, but the fact that we and our relationships between ourselves and our institutions can work smarter and more effectively and efficiently together, and we build upon that relationship. And you have that relationship, and then you have the relationship with the chamber and all of you. And that synergy makes this work. And there are other communities, and you know of them, that don't have that. And we do, and North Little Rock always has had that, I think. So that's the blessing. What's the other question? Because I'm 60 and I forgot.
I understand. I'm 50 and I still
Okay, I'm right there with you.
What my question was. What kind of structures do you have in place
Okay.
for workforce development as well as a pathway?
So our structures that we have in place at our college, and Jerome has the same thing, and I know this gentleman does too. We have pathways. Our degree programs have career pathways, and those pathways clearly show our students what is the most effective and efficient way to get through to a certificate or an AA degree, what you have to take, how you have to take it, all of that. But the best part of those pathways is how, again, we link up to North Little Rock and their pathways they have in career and tech ed and their center of excellence. So we have those aligned curriculum pathways that make it easy and saves money and time for our students. Jerome and I do the same thing. We look at our curriculum and we line our curriculum. And we work together on experiential learning for our students. So we have that in place, education, and then we get to work with all of you with business, and your business information informs what we put in that curriculum. So our advisory committees that we have at each of our institutions have business and industry folks on them. And we have to rely on that to have the most up-to-date technological skills that we can pass on to our students. I'm looking at Christy, she's shaking her head yes. So, and that is the same thing we do at our Business and Industry Center too. So that's helpful. Which way? Okay, Jerome, you get to go.
Well, just adding on to what Dr. Ellerby has already said, one of the things that we've had a chance to talk with the superintendent about, Superintendent Pulaski, is how to tap into those students that are still in high school that are going to graduate or quittuate and do absolutely nothing. How do we capture them? That is a significant potential part of our workforce. And so these are the things that we are collaborating on and talking about together. And so just to share an African proverb, one says, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, do it together.
That is correct.
Great, thank you. You know, when I first arrived, and to echo Dr. Ellsby and Dr. Green, when we first met individually, was an automatic connection. And, you know, by the end of those conversations, when you're able to finish each other's sentences about what we all envision for our kids in North Little Rock, just further intensifies the excitement about what's possible. And I think there's great opportunity, and certainly for the North Little Rock School District, what I envision in the future is that we're going to go through the next 5 to 7 years of significant innovation and transformation. And that certainly starts with our visioning process, and we're going to go through that shortly. And I say that because one of the things that we need to do in our district is to really create a graduate profile. What is it that the North Little Rock High School graduate looks like, sound like? What are those 6 characteristics, qualities that we want our students to graduate with? And that has to happen in partnership with our higher ed, but specifically our business and industry folks about, we want to, and that's one thing I love about being here as well, is there's so much economic opportunity and growth in this whole entire area. And we want to be able to send our kids to live here, to work here, to play here, and to be great citizens within this community. You know, currently we have just around an 82% graduation rate. So 20% of our students which are not graduating from high school. And that's certainly the conversation that we're having with our colleagues about how do we change that trajectory so that we increase that graduation rate. And it really starts all the way back in pre-K and kindergarten. We've got to do a much better job. It's one of the challenges I faced, or actually, you know, throughout to our leaders, is what would our school system look like if all of our students could read and compute by the end of grade 2? Because that's where the achievement gaps beginning early on. But also, we've got to expose our youngest children to more career opportunities. So a couple ideas that we're thinking about are really re-envisioning our elementary schools. Imagine themed elementary schools. Like imagine one of our schools that had an environmental or a financial literacy theme. That's where we can connect with our business community to help make the curricula more relevant to the 21st century. And that really goes through what I believe is this whole notion of us in public education is help kids find their passion. Because, you know, all of us as adults, you're passionate about it, your profession's gonna find you. And so by working together and really back mapping from industry and what our community needs back into our high school, all the way back into our elementary school, but because what we envision is through that once kids get to high school, finding wall-to-wall career pathways. Not all of our students are in a career pathway. Our vision is that they will. We want to be able to strengthen our partnership, such as to create an early college program where some of our students, if they choose, they can graduate from high school and graduate with an associate's degree. And so those are just some ideas as we want to increase internship programs, partnership programs. The youth apprenticeship program is outstanding. Those are all great ways as we talk about certificates. Not every kid's going to go to college. And there are so many careers out there where you don't need a college degree. However, getting those industry certifications or badges, so to speak, just enhance them coming to you. and then where you want to take them as their employee to further develop their growth. And so I'm really excited about the future of our entire community over the next 5, 7 to 10 years.
Awesome. I've got one last question because we're getting. What are we doing on time? Doing good. Okay. I've got one more question that I wanted to hit on, and that is one of the reasons why I actually got on the education committee, or let's put it this way, I don't know if Sheriff Brazier's here or Kendi is. When I was first getting involved in the chamber, probably almost 20 years ago, and they both said, "Oh, you'll do great as an education chair." And I was like, "Really? What is that?" And so I got involved, but what I found out was education is vital to what's going on in our community. It's vital for those of us who are business owners or business leaders. The next generation coming up, that's who's going to be sitting in your spot. What kind of person do you want sitting in that spot? So with that, it takes our involvement with education along with that partnership. And I know that there's probably ways in which folks within this room, outside this room, that are all involved with the chamber can get involved with each one of your schools. Can you kind of briefly tell us a little bit about some ways in which we can do that?
Sure. So from the school system standpoint, actually there's lots of ways. That first way is certainly through our career pathways. That's probably the biggest way to be able to get involved through that academic piece as well as that business internship. That's one example. Mentoring is another area that we've identified as a great way from elementary school to middle school to high school in order to connect with our students. The reality is, and we've been having this conversation in our community, that we have a youth gun violence issue. And one of the areas in which we've tried to attack is mentoring. The more that we can connect with our youth, in our school district, 75% of our students come from poverty. Most of our students come from single-family homes. So connecting with us as it relates to mentoring and connecting as well as through your business to be able to offer students those kinds of opportunities are just some ways in which you can help engage.
I mentioned it earlier. I think one of the tremendous ways we have community involvement in our institution is on our advisory committees for all of our technical programs. And so if you would like to be involved in that endeavor, please just see me and we'll get you signed up. That is critical to our educational training for our students, and that information not only comes from the faculty, but we really need that to come from our business and industry friends who our students will be employed by. So that's huge for our institution. Another area that we are looking at, and we are going to start, I think this year, I know it is this year, we're looking at apprenticeships and internships. And again, I look at the senator, the Office of Skills Development in our state have been cultivating apprenticeships, whether they are youth apprenticeships or adult, for the betterment of business and certainly economic development of our state. And we are going to be a part of that. So our involvement with various apprenticeship associations in this state. But again, when we train those individuals, we want you all involved in that program. So that leads to a better employee for you. Another area is our internships. And this is both for our technical programs and guess what? Our general ed programs. So if you're in general ed and you're taking speech or creative writing, we'd like to have all of our students have the opportunity to have an internship right here at home with businesses that can help them see the relevancy of what they're learning in school. And so we are going to be starting an internship office, apprenticeship office, and really have a structured opportunity for our students. So if you'd like to be involved in that, you can see me. I'll give you my phone number. You can write it down right now, being an old teacher. Here's a direction. It's 501-812-8255. 2216, or just call the main line up at school and you'll get me. Ask for Margaret. But, and if you see anything else, we're here for you. So thank you.
Now can I talk about the Reimagine grant? Shorter College, along with the University of Arkansas Global Campus in Fayetteville, are sub-grantees under the Arkansas Department of Workforce to administer what is called the Reimagine Workforce Grant Program. Now, this is, I think, one of the most significant things to come along in some time, and it is intended to be a way to help come out of the pandemic. For Shorter College's part, we have been awarded $3 million to, over the next 3 years, provide micro-credentials, certificates and micro-credentials that are directly tied to the needs of the local business community. What we have used to identify the needs to be met for the business community is the listing from the Arkansas Workforce Department. So we think we're on the right track, and we have used our existing partnership with the Apple Corporation and with IBM, who have made all of their software and training mechanisms available to us, so that if you have a Shorter College ID number, you can log into this and you can, at your own pace, receive credentials in coding, a badge, IBM, imagine an IBM industry-wide recognized badge in coding, IBM recognized badge in cybersecurity, IBM badge in blockchain. I'm still trying to get somebody to tell me what blockchain is, but they say it's a big deal. And several other particular areas that represent a competency that is significant to business. Now, those are just examples of what the micro-credentials are. We have 6 different categories that also include business. These training periods take about a month to undergo, okay? This is completely paid for by the grant. Anybody who is unemployed or underemployed or displaced by the pandemic. In other words, if your bartender job or your waitress job is gone because of the pandemic, you qualify to sign up for the Reimagine grant to get these credentials so that you can become attractive to industry. Okay, now that's part one.
That's right. Go ahead. You got the money. Go ahead.
Part two is a portion of this funding that we have has been approved for us to set aside for internships. Okay? So the objective of the grant in phase 2 is then to place these students who have studied in these courses with companies that have a need for people with these skills. Paid internships, not paid by the company. So that ought to be exciting to some companies to be able to have staff workers to come and work in their business on things that are important to them, who have been trained in these with these micro credentials, and the person is not a free intern, they're being paid to be there, and we will be writing the check. Okay? Applause. And yeah, that's part three. And I just want to thank the Chamber of Commerce and the business community for being so receptive. We, working with the Chamber, we have signed up 17 companies.
Wow.
Se- 17 companies who are interested in participating with us and signing MOUs and allowing us to place these people with them. And of course, and it's on our nickel, but our hope is that when the students finish the internship, that these companies will have found new employees who have the competencies that they need, who have been trained in their businesses at no cost to them. So now to answer the question of how can you participate? Sign the list. Reimagine people, stand up again so they can see you. You can sign up before you leave here today. Our staff there. If you would like to be one of the companies, one of the industries, to be able to place one of these people, and this is open to anybody, so go tell all your kinfolk. If they have been displaced by the pandemic, they qualify. If they've been in prison and have recently gotten out and are part of the reentry community, they qualify. It's easy to qualify. And so this is an opportunity that should not be passed up, and these are credentials that people should not miss the opportunity to get at no cost to themselves, and then have paid internships that could lead to employment. So we want you to help us get the word out, and if you have a business, please sign up to be one of the participating companies that can let these interns go to work. Other than that, we also have advisory committees and boards because we need you to tell us how to make our programs better. And so if you want to do that, just call the college or tell one of those that I want to sign up to tell Shorter College how to do better. And we will sign you up. Thank you so much.
Thank all of y'all for that great information. Like I said, I think of y'all as actually one of the most vital role out of the city, the chamber, and our education system with economic development. I think it's y'all three, and appreciate y'all giving the time and telling about that. And if you want to get involved, it is vital that we as business leaders or owners get involved with our education system. It's vital. If we want to see economic growth, we need to be there. We've got to go get signed up to be on the internship. You go and do this. And I know that teenagers can be very, very intimidating, but guess what? Robert Birch and I and several other folks, we've done it. We do a thing with 11th graders with the ALPS program at the education committee. So if that's something that you're more interested in, you can come join the education committee. We have a place for you there too, and we can get you connected with all three of these folks. But with that, I do want to turn it over and see if anybody has any questions for Dr. Ellaby, Dr. Green, or Dr. Pulaski.
I just got a question for Dr. Pulaski about like middle school and some other stuff that I know that y'all talked about last night, how that's going.
Great, thank you for that question. So yes, actually last night, well, let me go back. If you think about what the current version or the vision has been for the North Little Rock School District, world-class schools for world-class students, I learned that was coined in 1993. And the reality is we've lived up to that. We do have world-class facilities. the middle school is an area that needs attention. So last night I did recommend to build a brand new middle school. So we're going through that process right now. We've refinanced our bonds last year, which will generate somewhere in the neighborhood about $32 million. So there's going to be no increase in a millage to be able to pay for that. We'll be able to do that. So we're looking right now in the process to get some matching funds from the state to make that a reality. But I think that's really an exciting time. It's much needed in that area, as well as some other projects that we've got planned as we work with our city, such as potentially a brand new baseball field, a brand new at the Poplar Street as we're thinking about softball. And I would love to have the first North Little Rock High School Aquatic Center. And I think that would be a great community asset. But interestingly enough, I think it would be awesome to be the first district to offer swimming and drown proofing by the time you leave 5th grade. In the natural state, we have so much water around us, and I think it's our due diligence to teach children how to save themselves, how to save others with all of that. So I think there's some exciting things in the future. Thank you for that question.
Who's next? Any other questions? Well, all right. Well, thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you again for participating and giving that great information. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Bobby.